It started less than a week ago as a presidential election. It very rapidly descended into a fight over whether it's really an election or is it really just a selection. Rajdeep was here. We're all here. We've been talking about it all week. Rajdeep, in fact, has just come back from the Congress office where he's spoken to a lot of people who've been quite honest. Rajdeep, you were the first one to talk about Kharge even last night. And it happened today. You've been predicting everything that's happened this week.
Now look, the Congress is, as I've often said, a party which is a bit like a family soap opera. You never know what happens tomorrow, lots of drama, lots of twists and turns. That's the nature of the party. It actually makes the party more chaotic, but in a strange way also more democratic. You know, that's my sense. It's a chaotic party, but also a democratic party, where in the Congress office you can have Congress workers virtually suggesting that the Congress leadership has got this horribly wrong. How can you have an octogenarian? You need younger people. The entire Madhya Pradesh contingent out there. Where is Digvijaya Singh? Why isn't he made a leader? I don't think you might see the same voices in the BJP today.
And yet, Rajdeep, it is the Gandhis who decide it's the octogenarian, and he's the one. And Ashok Gehlot also says maybe Shashi Tharoor will withdraw.
Gaurav Sawant, in the BJP, Modi, Shah and Mr. Bhagwat will decide. In the Congress, Rahul,
no party has democracy.
Will decide. That's my view. That all these parties have no real internal democracy.
Correct.
Two and a half people decide. So why sing? Actually, in a strange way, in the Congress is just letting it all out there. It's not even hidden behind the walls. In the BJP, to some extent, even if there is dissent, it will never come out in the open. Why was Gadkari removed? We won't know. Why from the BJP parliamentary board? How was Nadda chosen for another term? We'll never know. But in the Congress, the chaos that is there, where Digvijaya Singh tells us last night, I'm all set to file my nomination. Today, Mallikarjun Kharge, ये Congress है.
It's
a crazy Indian party.
But BJP never preached to have internal elections or hold. They never preached to do it.
No, they talk about merit. They never talk about democracy.
They held their fort gracefully. They don't bigger like this in public. It's not a fair game of a grand old party, is it?
And you know, in the Congress, it's all out in the open. I mean, look at what Kumari Selja tweeted.
And deleted.
You know, and then deleted. She said, I thank our leaders Sonia ji and Rahul ji for having chosen Kharge ji. So if we've chosen Kharge ji, then why lead
Moment of honesty.
You know, poor Shashi Tharoor has been led up the garden path. He's brushing up his Hindi. He's brushing up his Urdu. All of that for what joy?
He knows great Hindi.
For what
He's learned
joy?
Hindi over the years. In fact, this post was given to Kharge much earlier. He refused it, saying that nobody in the Hindi belt is going to listen to me.
Preeti was there the night this whole thing went south.
Yeah, that's why she was in Jaipur.
No, you know, the fact is, what I don't get is, I don't understand what the Congress is doing, because it flies against exactly what you want to do. Why do I say that? Is what happened, what went down in Rajasthan. That one-line resolution, which has been the tradition of the Congress party, needs to be filed. Why wasn't that filed? Why didn't that happen? Why didn't that consensus reach? This is the tradition of the Congress party. This is the tradition you wanted to finish. No. So in that aspect, what Ashok Gehlot did was democratic and it was right. But the High Command still wants to be the High Command. What has gone down here? Exactly that.
No, I agree. You know, to an extent, I think the Congress is caught at the moment between wanting to, at one level, change and sort of, you know, be disruptive, and at another level play safe and be status quoist. You can't have it both ways.
True.
You know, that's the problem with this party, and you get a sense that there is one group possibly closer towards Sonia Gandhi which wants status quo, and there is another group younger, closer to Rahul Gandhi, which perhaps wants disruption. What happens at the end of the day between this battle? An 82-year-old is pitchfork. No. Someone who all his life wanted to be Karnataka Chief Minister. Never got a chance to be Karnataka
but
Chief
ultimately,
Minister.
Why?
Now suddenly finds that laddu de diya, ek din Lok Sabha leader, Rajya Sabha.
Which is why they made him the front runner for Congress president, because he's never questioned the Gandhi family. He could have easily been made the Karnataka Chief Minister. He never defied the Gandhi's decision.
You know, I actually found something very interesting. An old a friend of mine from Karnataka told me this afternoon that Kharge's sons are named Rahul, Priyank, and daughter is Priyadarshini. Now, you know, that's not. But you know, it's a great story.
Yeah.
If Narendra Modi was has the T-boy son story, his Kharge's father, mill worker.
Yeah.
You know, comes from forward. So he is in that sense risen from the ranks, 9-time MLA.
Yeah, so has Gehlot.
But the wrong person for what the Congress needs. What does the Congress need? It needs energy. You know, Nadda has travelled more than 250 Lok Sabha constituencies. Can Kharge
And
do
in
that?
all difficult areas where the BJP had actually not won elections.
Yeah, so you see, that's the problem. If the Congress wanted to make this president's election about fixing their problem of energizing themselves, getting their organization together, then Mallikarjun
what is that one
Kharge is
word?
the wrong
What-
person.
But what is that one
G20?
word?
Manish Tiwari is also with Mallikarjun Kharge. Manish Tiwari
The entire
also,
G20
the
G20
G20 is
G20
Mallikarjun
Kharge calling it.
Kharge. So what is
So
what is the
that?
game behind
But,
the game?
Because I think where the game begins and ends is the word that we have heard constantly through the crisis of Rajasthan, constantly through the crisis of the Congress president, that is Ala Kaman and High Command. No matter who the president might be, it comes down to the High Command. Sachin Pilot comes out yesterday after meeting Sonia Gandhi and says High Command will decide. Ashok Gehlot comes out that I went against, he actually apologized for going against the principles of the Congress and what the High Command wanted.
No,
What's
that's
the
because
faster of having a president there?
The 2 points. First, the fact is that every party has a high command. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves.
No
that there is
party
high-
has democracy.
You know,
I'm
that
very
there is
clear
true
about that.
democracy in the Indian system. Number 2, the fact is at the end of the day that the Congress party is now a group of individuals each looking to fulfill their limited ambition. The only thing that holds them together is this high command.
True.
Now, until now I actually thought that the time has come that the Congress needs to go beyond this high command and become a real sort of political party. I've realized the only thing that holds it together is the high command.
True,
because
but
there
if
are
Shashi
so many
Tharoor-
conflicting
Even Tharoor
ambitions.
was saying,
If
even
Shashi
Tharoor
Tharoor-
was saying
The DNA of the Congress is same
That-
as DNA of Gandhi.
that
In
Kharge is a
interview
symbol of
you-
continuity. That's like a barb, no? That was like almost like an attack saying, I represent change. Someone like him
True.
represents the status quo.
When I interviewed Tharoor yesterday, he said, no, I want to decentralize the Congress. It should be democratized. Very nice words. We all agree with them. If I was writing an edit page column, I would agree with it. But I'm not if you're a politician, you've got to be realistic. The realistic world
Yes.
is that all roads in the Congress lead to 10 Janpath. At the end of the day,
And if
that's
you
the
look at
reality.
it-
No, but Rajdeep,
Just as they lead to Narendra Modi and Amit Shah.
do
Which is-
all roads lead to
that's the
10
reality.
Janpath, or do they lead to Rahul Gandhi's house separately, they lead to Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's house separately and 10 Janpath? So now there are multiple power centers.
I don't think the
No,
Congress
yeah.
needs to be defensive about lack of internal democracy. Like I've said and argued, no party has that in this country. No party really has internal democracy.
Though we should.
No,
I
but
agree with Nabila though, when she says that the BJP is not shouting from the rooftops and saying, we are internally democratic. Their whole thing is about meritocracy,
They're
merit,
thoroughly
and things
organized.
like that.
BJP is thoroughly
It's like an
organized.
army, the
But
BJP is like an army.
I still have to say that we're underselling Kharge. He may be over 80, but he's gritty for sure. In Kannada, they call him Soul Illada
called him a war
Sardara,
horse,
which means
sir,
a man who's never lost an election. He probably
Except
lost
2019
the Lok
Lok
Sabha
Sabha.
election
Definitely
because 3 of his MLAs in his constituency defected to the BJP, so it was out of his control. But he's a man who's very well versed with politics. But he's as shrewd as Ashok Gehlot.
But let me add a controversial thing. Are we then suggesting, Shiv, based on what you just said about meritocracy, are we saying that the BJP is essentially perhaps more meritocratic than the Congress, but is more dictatorial? Is that what we are saying?
I think-
that at the end of
I
the day,
am
the
saying-
Congress is less meritocratic,
organizational
but more
discipline.
democratic.
I would
No,
like to
but-
quote from a movie called The Crimson Tide, which is about a nuclear submarine, where a captain of the nuclear submarine, there is a moment of mutiny on board, and he says, we are here to preserve democracy, not practice it.
No,
Okay?
you know,
I think that political parties, by their very nature and for the reasons of the, discipline, etc., need to have a certain degree of authoritarianism.
But
That's
the
reason
fact
why
is,
most
but
of our-
if you compare both the parties,
Just see what we saw in Britain just now in the Conservative Party. Open election between
That's-
Liz
that's-
Truss
no,
and
you
Rishi
know, but
Sunak.
there's one very clear fact and a
not
difference
Americans
here.
have that?
There is one very clear fact and a difference
I'm
here. You
speaking
take
about
out,
India, though.
you
Yeah.
take out Amit Shah and you take out Narendra Modi. Even though the power centers are strong, there will be somebody who will rise up and take over charge of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Here, see what has happened both in Rajasthan and right now. You take away the Gandhis, it's a motley crew. They do each other in.
Yeah.
What's going on?
But it suits, you're right. But the fact is then, you're perpetuating dynasty, right? If the problem is the high command is not in a way changing or rotating. There was a high
But
command.
that's the only discipline.
No, in
But
the
Rajdeep,
BJP, in the
they
BJP,
don't
in the
want
Vajpayee
to.
Advani era, Vajpayee Advani were the high command. In the Narendra Modi Shah era, they are the high command. The problem is in the last 25 years, the only high command the Congress has revolves basically in and around the Gandhi. So I think if you can have a rotation of a high command, I have no problem with it.
No, but
the
yeah, Is there a Congress party without Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi?
At the moment,
Is
no.
there a so there is no.
At the moment,
So
no.
So it is all Sonia Gandhi. Point 1, point 2.
Is there a BJP without Modi Shah?
Of
Can
course
be.
there
I
would
believe
be.
there
It
can
will
be. There will
emerge.
be somebody
There will
else.
emerge.
Yes.
There'll be a new generation of leadership that's proving itself in various states. And, you know, there are various chief ministers that you've talked about. But can I also ask you one more thing? Ashok Gehlot, even today, at the time when Mallikarjun Kharge is filing his nomination, what does he say? Maybe Shashi Tharoor will withdraw. What does that
It
mean?
is the largest
Where is
strategy to
democracy?
reach, to touch base and connect and maybe strengthen your base in the south because they've more or less been wiped out in the north. So any relevance that Congress have today is 3 states in the south. Tamil Nadu, they're virtually part of the government. Karnataka, they may just be revived. And in Kerala, they're a profitable
but what-
opposition.
what-
But there is inner party democracy in
Mallikarjun Kharge comes
Karnataka.
from Karnataka going to elections. In every way,
No,
it's
one
a
minute.
thought out
But
plan.
what I've been amused with. What I've been amused with in the last week is how many people don't want to be Congress president.
Yeah.
You know, this was a post that I thought people would crave for. Now we find the person who was least least unwilling to become, least reluctant to become, becomes the unofficial, official candidate of the Congress party now.
Because of those who are willing, don't want, the Gandhis don't want them.
But can I ask you one thing? A friend of mine sent me a message.
Whoever
from
has
the
a
Congress party.
last comment,
we're all done. One of my friends from the Congress party sends me a message. He said, all of you are trying to make fun of us because we are holding this election in a seemingly messy fashion. When will you start asking questions about the way the BJP holds or doesn't hold elections? What do I tell him? What do I tell him?
The BJP doesn't shout about holding these elections. The Congress
should I
does.
tell
That's
him?
the point.
No, so
Anyway,
Why aren't you talking about the Trinamool Congress, the Samajwadi Party, the Aam Aadmi
But
Party,
that's
all
why
of whom
the
are
point.
selecting their leaders, not
and
electing
most
them?
of whom are dynasty-based parties.
But
What
you
do
wanted, the Congress
Okay,
admitted
guys.
it wanted to change. These parties have not come out and said we need a change. The
Luckily-
Congress needs to change. You can see it
Luckily,
in their
this is a story
electoral
that's still in motion. The
You know,
picture
Shiv, the
abhi baki hai.
No, that's right, Shiv, the great thing. So my answer to this guy would be, if you guys are going to provide us daily entertainment in some manner, we're going to be covering it. You know, if what happens
The
one
Congress-
week changes the next, you know, so we-
The Congress gets a raw deal most of the time, and most of the time of their own making. But at the end of the day, it's the biggest opposition party. It's got a national footprint. It has a big role to play in our democracy. So it's not a joking matter. We may be, quibbling about certain things, but the Congress is here to stay, and it has to have those next step, clearly spelled out by whoever is chosen to lead it.
it's
So
a democratic but chaotic newsroom.
we wish
A non-Gandhi
we
face
wish
for
the
the
Congress
first
very
time.
well, but what we
not
all
a
rather be talking about
It's a
today
big deal.
is
Sitaram
Ponniyin
Kesri.
Selvan. Ponniyin Selvan is out, and we've all got opinions about that movie, and we're going to talk about it. One of the most awaited films of the year is finally out. I'm talking about Ponniyin Selvan. It's not just any old film. It's by Mani Ratnam, and it's a film that many are seeing that finally does justice to one of the greatest ancient dynasties of India, the Cholas. The sense is that the Mughals have been given so much attention in film after film, across film industries in India, but the Cholas, despite having fabulous subject matter, have been sort of left in the lurch and not really given any attention. Gaurav, it's a Tamil film. Obviously, you're going to watch the dubbed version, but it's more than a film for you.
I will not just watch the dub version, I will watch the original Tamil version.
Yeah.
I'll sit with friends who will
must.
translate it with me.
I'll sit with
because,
you.
yeah, I want to see the grandeur of India and not just through the eyes of a certain ecosystem that only said the Mughals were great and our history begins and ends with the Mughals, or everybody else is a footnote in history. That's clearly not true. Immediately after independence, there was the left kind of bent of mind that gave you one kind of history, and we've been fed that kind of history for the last 70 years. Now there is a different government. That government is looking at things differently, and a lot more will come out, and I'm very keen to know a lot more about my country and my history.
I can name all the Mughal rulers, but I couldn't name any of the Chola rulers apart from, one or two of them. I didn't know about the sequence of events, and that told me that this is a real problem.
All of us can name at least 5 Mughal emperors.
I can name them all.
Yeah, at least 5.
Including their
5
years.
Chola kings. If I were to ask everyone here, they'd be stumped.
Yeah.
Formula of movies around the Mughals that just worked
No,
and
because
raked in money, and
look,
that
we all
formula
love
worked,
grandeur.
So everybody
we
just
all love
stuck on to
grandeur.
that.
It was an easy formula. You look at Ponniyin Selvan, it's actually a fictional
Tried
tale.
and tested, safe.
Anything not ethnic, basically something that's outside your comfort is
No, but
generally more
Cholas
appealing.
is
I don't know.
as ethnic as it gets.
The Mughal design, their architecture, etc. Maybe that
Cholas-
is captivating.
one second, Cholas
I agree
are
with
as
Cholas.
ethnic as they
Absolutely, 100%. No denying that. But my point is, for the Indians, possibly the Mughals were alien, And that maybe was more attractive to know. The kind of contributions when it comes to architecture by the Cholas, I haven't even heard of it. In fact, Mughal
And the tragedy-
Empire is,
No, so is it
has
a-
so
I have
much
a
element
question
in
to
pop
Gaurav.
culture, it's not even funny.
Is it prejudice? Is it like, nahin, I don't want to make a film on the Cholas. I want to make a film on the Mughals. Is
I
it
think
that,
it's
or is
easy.
it ignorance? Not knowing enough about the Cholas, so you don't know about their grandeur and their legacy.
So when ignorance is bliss, it's folly to be wise. And in this case, I think there was also an agenda. There was an agenda that was, why is it that everything we know about our history is either the Mughals or the British? People say we became a country because the British united us. And that is popular culture. That's popular pop culture in our country. I mean, how silly can people be? But unfortunately, you haven't been told extensively about what you truly were. What was Bharatvarsh? What were the Mauryas, for example, all about? You know, what was the Gupta Vansh all
The
about?
Vijayanagar kingdom.
The Vijayanagar Empire.
so many.
And
exactly.
it's not like they're not mentioned in history books. They all are. But
but
movies
other
are
than
how
that,
much?
but movies are only
Culture
Mughal
has
kingdom
taken
and
off
picked, yeah.
from a tried and tested formula, and I think the only fault is because, you know, making a movie around the Mughals worked, so that formula worked. I think that's the only fault.
And you know, I won't
don't
just
see
blame-
any sinister
I
motive
won't
when it
just-
comes to the film.
there
I
is
won't
something
just
that's-
blame Bollywood here. Is the fact that, you know, when they talk about South Indian, it's the most basic cliches that they pick up, right? They don't bother going beyond that or digging into the layers. But I think every film industry has been the same. You talk about Tamil movies, I think the only one that I can think of is something like an Ayirathil Oruvan, and that also had very few references
Yeah.
to the Chola Empire.
Look
Not
at-
much at all. My other point is, Gaurav, you're talking about films, right? Politically also. Something that recently got me very upset was the new naval seal, right? The Navy seal, the Navy ensign which came out. Why is it that the Cholas weren't given a tribute? Yes, great, it was for Chhatrapati Shivaji. Why was there no mention of the Cholas? The first naval setup or fleet
The
that we had,
original seafarers.
yeah, was by the Cholas. And by the way,
1,000 ships, the biggest
so why
seafaring
was there no
empire.
mention of that? I think politically also we're very guilty of ignoring them.
I completely agree with you. A lot more needs to be done, especially about the Cholas, and I'm so glad, Shiv, this film is happening. The fact that our culture spread across Southeast Asia, you know, when you talk about Indonesia or Cambodia
Malaysia,
or
any of these
Malaysia
places.
or Singapore or even Sri Lanka and Maldives,
And they got to all of these places because they had this marine
a
power.
very powerful
So
navy,
why is
a
it
very
that that's
powerful
not
navy.
being...
People know about the Mughals so much more because of the system, because of the education system. And filmmakers are like, why should I spend my time learning more about the Cholas or the Pandyas or the Mauryas or the Guptas?
No,
but
so I don't have
fabulous subject matter.
this fascination is actually mind-boggling. You write so much more about invaders. Babur was, after all, an invader in our country. And then you have chaps who will name their children after invaders. You know, why would you have a Temur who wiped out a 1/5 of humanity in his times? That is so sad that we don't know so much about
But
our
they're
own
not sensitive,
country.
all right.
An invader who carried out Katleam, killed lakhs of people in the national capital.
So maybe that's why-
you know,
don't
and
maybe
their
that-
children,
we
you
speak-
name your children after such elements, it hurts. The Pandyas, 800 years, the Ahom dynasty, which never let the Mughals come in, 600 years, the Chalukya Empire, 600 years, the Maurya Empire, 550 years, the Gupta Empire, 400 plus
It's
years.
not like I've not read all of
No,
them.
no,
in
no.
textbooks. I haven't seen
The
them in
Mughals,
movies.
the Mughals.
Maybe the reason being that
All
it's
this
easy
love
to-
about
Can
Jodha
I say-
Akbar.
can
May I?
say-
No, allow
maybe
me to finish.
It's easy to bash the Mughals on
Allow
screen,
me
but
to
it's very
finish.
sensitive to take up something like a Chola Empire because you do not want to irk the
Allow me
Indian
to
audience.
finish.
No,
What did
no.
the Mughals, who
One
are Mughals,
second.
yeah? 181 years is all that the Mughals ruled in their glory. From 1526 when Babur invaded.
Okay,
Babur from Samarkand invaded India in 1526. By 1707, Aurangzeb was dead. Then came the later Mughals who were at the mercy of people.
Mughals being shown as what they, as Gaurav said, as any of those talks about barbarity is none of that. They're
But
glorified in
some
films.
movies show
They
them
are
excited,
glorified
yeah,
in
where
films
they've killed
always.
people and they've
Not one movie. None of you
I
have
can
named
only
one.
tell you about
You guys
the
don't even
Khilji
name
dynasty.
one. I name four.
Okay, it'll finally boil down to whether filmmakers have a responsibility or whether it's just art. They are free to choose their subject matter. They have no responsibility in the sense they don't owe their audiences you know, picking up these subjects. But at the end of the day, we are a society, we're a democracy. And these are, you know, cultural storytellers. And do they have certain amount of responsibility on their shoulders to tell stories that nobody else is telling?